Hello, everybody. Welcome into Ghost Racing Network here live at Atlanta Motor Speedway for Tuesday Night Thunder for RMR Money Racing. A little different. First time that we're going to see money racing really here at a mile and a half in itself, and it is going to be fun. It's going to be wild because we have a giant field. Joining me in the booth tonight, co-host. We've seen him a couple times now, and we get to see him here again tonight. Dawson Wise. Dawson, how you doing?
It's a party. Going to be fun. Atlanta's a new track for money racing. It's going to be a good one tonight.
It is going to be a good one. How about we get right into your starting grid here? Cody Nagels for NBG Motorsports starts on the pole. He's going to have a teammate to his outside, Sean Hill second. Jeff Merck starts in third with Gabe Butler in fourth. Matthew Baker and Matt Lee making up row three. Those are two NBG Motorsports teammates. John Mullahan, highest running McCall Motorsports driver for the start here, starts seventh with Brandon Broadfoot eighth. Garrett Maines in ninth, and Andrew Zonto rounding out the top 10.
Kenny McCullough will roll from 11th with John Darnell to his outside in 12th. Chris McCullough will roll from 13th with John Ellis Jr. to his outside in P14. Jason Maines and Andrew Clark will make up row number 8 with John Ward and Jacob Emery behind them on row number 9. And round out the top 20, David Sheets and Danny Barnes.
Mark Vundell starts 21st. He's going to have Bobby Forbes to his outside in 22nd. Daniel Eberhardt, Dylan Jones making up row 12. Brock Westmoreland in 25th. Devin Ray, 26, won the raffle ticket into the big PGR race Thursday. Congratulations to him on that. Chad Ross for Team 3 starts 27th. Logan York, 28th. Ambrose Cable for Blind Squirrel Racing in 29th. And Mike Davenport rounding out your top 30. Jackson By starts 31st. Ryan Bass, 32nd. And David Drohan rounding us out for a 33-truck field. Going to talk about your race info here real quick just before we get going. Atlanta Motor Speedway. A mile and a half just over in length. Track temp tonight going to be 100 degrees. Heavy banking in the corners. These guys will be full throttle all the way throughout this pretty fast, kind of like a super speedway built track. Weather on track, though, going to be 68 degrees outside, 19% humidity, partly cloudy skies, and winds at 2 miles an hour. Breakdown of this race is going to be 80 laps at 100% fuel. Everybody's got unlimited tires. Going to be a stage break at lap 20, and that is going to shake some things up. All right, here we go. Looking for the green flag. It's Cody Nagels with his teammate Sean Hill into the Geico restart zone for the first time tonight at Atlanta, and we are green.
Yeah, pretty good restart by the MVG guys up front. Jeff Merck immediately to the back bumper of his teammate Cody Nagels. Gabe Butler a little bit slower to the outside line for Sean Hill. A new paint scheme on the 77 tonight. A brand new bright blue look for that MVG Motorsports machine. As we get up to speed out of turn number 2 and onto the backstretch, it's going to be a lot of 2x2 tonight. The third line is not viable just because of a hot track and how narrow this place is. And it's new to a lot of guys, so a lot of guys not used to running this on a normal basis. And we're going to see how it works. Tire wear will come into effect tonight as well. Off of 4, NBG all across the front row. Nagels leads that one.
And I was just going to say, viable or not, I mean, we know Dawson, a couple of these guys are going to try it, and guess who's going to be the first to try it? The Coca-Cola Series driver, Garrett Maines, up to the middle, contacted, we're already going to wreck. That didn't take long. This is going to be a big one, too. How many guys does this collect? Looks like at least 4 or 5 NBGs getting the worst of it. John Mullahan is involved as well. Oh, my good. It is a parking lot off of turn 2. Holy moly.
Yeah, this is going to start when Sean Hill tries to block Garrett Maines as he came up the middle. An incredible run by the 1 through the middle of 1 and 2. And Hill tried to block. He was an inch too late. And, boy, that is a big wreck and very early, too.
Yeah, let's go take a look back at it there. And we worried about it. You just talked about it. It's not really a great option to do here. Somebody was trying to make it work, and actually he was making it work there. Made up about 3 rows until they all kind of just piled up here. Let's watch how this is going to start again. Dawson breaking it down for you. Kind of told you there. It looked like Sean Hill tries to come down and throw a block here. But, you know, Dawson, the way this track kind of drives sometimes, you kind of in the middle of the corner get a little bit loose and the trucks do steer down. I wonder if that's what happened or, you know, I mean, from the TV cam, it does certainly look like he may have been trying to throw a block. And I just think it's a little too early to be trying those kind of blocks. Just let him go. I mean, we got plenty of laps, but whatever happened, it caused a big, big wreck here down the backstretch.
Well, there's no telling that you would have even needed to block Garrett right there. I mean, he had the run in the middle of the corner, but you have the help off the end of the straightaway there. I don't understand why you'd turn down, so maybe he did get loose, and it is very easy, especially as the tires get older, and I saw that a lot in practice. So if we get into a long run, that's going to be a struggle, but right there, I don't know, maybe a little bit avoidable from the driver of the 77.
Let's take one more view here on the cockpit of Sean Hill. Let's see if we can watch the hands here. See how they kind of drift. Middle of the corner, looks like, ooh, it does look like he makes a little bit of an aggressive maneuver with that wheel to the left, like he was trying to move down a lane. And he might have thought that Garrett actually had a lot of help, and maybe the outside line was the one that was getting split up, but man, guys are going to learn from this one. Early rude awakening for a lot of them. I mean, everybody does have that fast repair tonight, but a lot of them are going to be using it already. Only 4 laps in. I sure would want to still have mine at a track like Atlanta, but NVG still going to be holding pretty strong. Cody Nagels leads the way now. Matthew Baker second, Jeff Merkin third. But McCall Motorsports, how about rounding out your top 5 with Ken McCall Jr. and Christopher McCall? They're going to be lining up side by side. Andrew Zonto just outside your top 5. Devin Ray, he's going to be starting in 7th. Jacob Emery, fellow broadcaster, had him out here last week for Tuesday Night Thunder. Tonight we find him down on the track trying to get the job done. Chad Ross just behind him in 9th, and Ambrose Knievel rounding out your top 10.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for mine to refresh from the top 20, so if you want to go through that, you can. But somehow NBG getting away with it kind of a little bit there. I thought when Hill went around, he was right in front of all of his teammates. I certainly thought he was going to take more than just Matt Lee, who gets the worst of that out of that team, but they're going to still find themselves 1, 2, 3, and probably wiping some sweat off their brow after that one.
Yeah, Atlanta's not going to be the best track to wreck at, especially in the turns. It's not nearly as wide as what we see in Talladega or Daytona, the 2 tracks that we normally stick to. So maybe this will settle everybody down here. We got the one to go signal, so we're getting ready to go back green. But I want to bring up the tire wear that you had talked about earlier in the sense of the middle line. I was going to say I think the other way you make it work, whether it's a middle or the top line, is going to be if you have fresher tires. But it doesn't seem like that because we know everybody's going to be pretty much full throttle the entire run. But if you take new tires, if your tires, I'd say, are probably 10 laps or more newer than the guys in front of you, it is a blinding rate of speed difference. I mean, you could have no help and just fly by guys on the outside, middle, 3 wide. But that's where you start to run that risk versus reward. We saw what happened when somebody had the guts to take it 3 wide. And although Garrett Maines was clawing through the field and making a really, really nice run up to the front, he falls all the way in the back now, and it might take him a little bit more time here to get to the front. But I think we'll probably see that one truck up here again at some point or another. But going back green with what is going to be 5 laps down, going to be taking lap 6 here. The stage break is set for the end of lap 20. So we still have well, I guess not if you think about it, because Atlanta is a lot shorter. So 15 laps is going to go by pretty quick here. We'll see how these guys decide to go about it.
Yep, and the first 3 they're going to go about it's the NBG Motorsports trucks, and I got to imagine they're going to maybe take a breath, calm down a little bit, try to manage the field here and log some laps, considering we just piled up a bunch of trucks. Either way, green flag for Cody Nagels. He waits on his teammate Jeff Merck. Outside does not go behind Matthew Baker, so he's going to have to hope for some help here in the middle of 1 and 2. Bottom line will roll big time. Let's see if Nagels actually goes up and picks up his teammate here. I would not be surprised, as McCullough gets to the back bumper of the 5, so maybe not needed. NBG on the front row. Here comes the top with McCullough. Whoa, Santo, big move, bottom to top. Headed back to 3. A couple guys bailing out. Still all NBG at the front.
Yeah, it looks like Devin Ray maybe didn't like what he was seeing. He's going to fall out of this pack all the way to the back. Garrett Maines picking right up from where he left off in that wreck. 3 wide. There he goes up top on the outside. Danny Barnes. Danny Barnes turned into the outside wall. Another big wreck. Second one here tonight. And this one in the tribal is also going to collect quite a few. Not as many as the first one. John Ward, he's going to get tagged by Jackson Buys at the end of pit road. There's Danny Barnes. He comes to a stop, and Garrett Maines was involved in this one again. And it looks like the one truck has some front end damage, some side damage, some rear end damage. He's got it on all corners, and yet again, it's looking like this is going to be another 3 wide move gone wrong. Let's back it up here, take a look. This is off of turn 4. And we had already saw the last lap. We kind of tried to keep the camera all eyes, but Garrett had made a couple moves towards the front, taking it 3 wide, a couple different spots. But this is where things are going to get nasty off of turn 4. Looks like Garrett is coming down. Danny's... that's some net code. Yeah, that's brutal net code between the 1 truck and the 7 truck. I mean, they weren't even all that close. Garrett kind of came down. He might have been looking to get a side draft, but there was still plenty of room between these 2 trucks, Dawson, and the netcode just straight hooks the 7. He takes a huge hit into the outside wall. Definitely going to be a fast pair for him. And John Ward looked like John Ellis Jr. may have been collected in that as well. Nowhere for him to go. Do you have any thoughts on that one, Dawson?
I mean, it's the danger of 3 wide. I mean, I talked about it earlier. It's going to be a lot of 2x2, and you just kind of have to bide your time. And I don't blame Garrett. He was at the front. He wanted to get back there, and boy, it just kind of goes wrong as he hooks Danny Barnes. Boy, Barnes gets the worst of that in a big way. That's the danger of Atlanta right there, is that dog leg. where you can get hooked and just hit at a 90-degree angle. And boy, that's a whale of a hit for Danny Barnes. But I don't really fault Garrett. Obviously, he wants to pick up track position, but it's just so much more dangerous here. And unsurprisingly, it ends badly again, and it involves the one truck again.
Yeah, it looked like Matt Lee might have collected a little bit of damage there as well for NVG Motorsports, one of their drivers. Let's right on board here with Jackson Byes for the final cam as he comes up late to the scene, but wasn't quite able to avoid contact. You see him wrecking there. He's going to dive to the apron. Looking okay. Now he gets in the grass where it's a lot harder to get slowed up. And then there's John Ward in front of him. And he was trying to check up, just couldn't quite check up enough in time. And that's also going to crumple the hood of the 01 truck. York Buys Motorsports, one of the newer teams to Money Racing. They were trying to have a good night tonight, but this is going to halt their efforts. Cody Nagels, Matthew Baker still going to be making up row 2. Actually, your whole top 5 is the same with Jeff Merck in 3rd, Ken McCall Jr., and Christopher McCall rounding out those top 5. But Blind Squirrel Racing, how about one of the fan favorites in Ambrose Knievel? He's up here. Haven't got to really see Ambrose at a 1.5 miles. We'll see if maybe this is a little bit more his thing. Maybe he likes 1.5 miles just a little bit better than the super speedways. Not sure, but he's having a good run right now, up in 7th. Daniel Eberhard in 9th. You know he's good here. He always likes to challenge guys. Says, hey, I'll put down any money you want on any track besides the super speedway, and I know I'm going to win it. Couple guys to keep your eye on, though. Brandon Broadfoot, he's hungry for a win. He was feeling pretty confident coming into the night. This is one of the Blue Lightning Motorsports drivers, and I think he might be a single-car team. Ryan Bass for Clutch Gaming Team. He's out here tonight holding down the fort by himself. Andrew Clark, another one of the Blind Squirrel Racing drivers. So they have at least 2 guys in the field, and then Gabe Butler running it solo tonight for Dale Cup. But he's going to get a couple teammates in the Thursday race. So he's just getting himself out here trying to maybe win a little extra money, but with 1 to go here, Dawson, what are we going to have to change up? I mean, I know you said 2 wide, but is there anything else that you think these guys maybe try this time to keep it a little bit cleaner?
It's just got to calm down. I think maybe, I don't know if it's the nerves being on this track for the first time, just not being familiar, but just think you take it easy and maybe lay off. These guys do not know what lay off means, to be completely fair, but I think you have to in a race like tonight. It's a little bit longer than these guys are used to, and it's a new facility. You have to lay off and calm down. And if these guys can figure that out, I think we could get some good racing later, but we got to save our trucks for then.
I agree 100%. I always like the idea of kind of getting into the 3 wide and the more aggressive racing naturally. Let guys kind of figure themselves out 2 by 2. And once they do, that's where the confidence shows up, and then we see the great 3 wide racing. Duck Duck Goose, couple people in the chat. Looks like Baker's Mall, everybody. Hello, Austin. How's everybody going? Have a lot of people chatting. Hope you guys are doing good. John says, yeah, because Ambrose can't run super speedways. Oh, ooh. Shot to the chest. Dang. I believe that's John Darnell throwing some shade at Ambrose. You better not let Ambrose hear that. We'll have some problems on the track. Either way, here we go. Looking back to the green flag here, 10 laps in, now halfway through the only stage of the race. Extra points on the line. Who wants them the most? Cody Nagels, Matthew Baker off to the races as we work our way through the tribal. Can everybody keep it in shape this time? First 3 rows are going to sneak away. Ambrose and the man running to his outside, Jacob Emery, they're going to fade back a little bit here.
Yeah, top row fades, and this time Cody Nagels is going to go up and pick up his teammate. Oh, only for a second as Baker gets a nice run out of turn 2, and he'll go right back down to the bottom in front of Jeff Merck. Basically just to hold Merck behind him. That's what they're going to try to do, is manage the lanes. We see them do this a lot, and it's communication, it's strategy. We talk about this. You guys know it by now. These guys are good at it. But McCullough Motorsports, they didn't want to interrupt the party up here, and they now run behind these guys. Can he peak to the top? How about that move by McCullough? He was actually the first one to try the top. It's not Garrett Maines this time. Still 2 by 2, and this is exactly what we need to do. Just run some laps, log some laps. Don't race too hard, and we'll do it a little bit later on.
And I know you say that, but I'm telling you, the 90 truck of Daniel Eberhard, he's taking a couple looks now on Zonto. He's really tempted to either try to get the 06 up the track or maybe try to go up the track himself, see if he can pick off that position. Now, my favorite thing about Atlanta that we don't get to see at Talladega or Daytona is there's going to be a transition here. Everybody right now is going to stay double file. That outside line is going to have the preferred momentum as long as they can keep guys together. And they will be able to kind of get the top, whoever's leading the top, to get clear. But as the run goes on, and once the tires start to wear out, the bottom becomes dominant, and everybody's going to have to start to shift down towards it, especially if we're expecting a pit stop, which I'm not sure the exact fuel window. I'm going to have to say we're probably not going to get a pit stop, but again, I'm not 100% sure on that. We'll have to find out, but either way, guys still looking sketchy. Eberhard's looking to the outside of Andrew Zonto as they dive into turn 1. Can that work?
Well, without help, it's going to be awfully hard. We saw Maines do it, but he also did it splitting the lines in the middle, which the middle is so much faster than trying to run up against the wall. So no surprise, Eberhard tucks back in, but he knows he can do it now if he gets another truck. I think that's what he was doing there, is testing the waters, maybe for a little bit later on once he gets a guy that'll be willing to go with him. But no, you said it. It's unique. We're going to see these guys actually have to run the bottom, and it's so rare on these super speedway style tracks. The middle has been dominant for the last few weeks since the update. So, oh, big moment there for Ambrose Kniebel. He's having a bit of a struggle back there in the 0-4. He's gotten loose a couple of times now.
Yeah, he's trying to hold that defensive line into turn one. That doesn't work too well. While you can stay full throttle, the middle of the corner, if you're entering as low as Ambrose is, it gets a little loose, and the only way to correct that is to wash up the track a little bit. You got to hope you don't wash up too much, though. And as they, oh man, Ambrose, he is really having a struggle here. Eberhard and Chad Ross both looking 3 wide to the top, and it just looks like these guys are absolutely flying around the track. So now we do have 3 wide for 2 rows deep up in the front. You got to wonder how long this works. Everybody's got to have to hold a steady line. There is room to do it, and we're seeing that right now. Chad Ross, Eberhard, if they can make it work, they've only got 2 guys. Not as important to have those 3 trucks as it is at Talladega and Daytona, but interested to see right here. Is 2 trucks enough to make it work? Meanwhile, Matthew Baker, Ken McCall Jr. trying to hold him off in the middle.
Yeah, I think it's going to be enough to pass the middle as it currently is. Ooh, big moment for the 32 there off of turn 4. A couple of big moments in the last couple laps is actually Kenny McCall almost got turned by Andrew Zonto. I don't know if you saw that a couple of laps ago. Ambrose, he says, I'm out of here. He's going to the back. He's on the apron. I don't blame him. These guys are getting crazy here with just 4 laps to go on the stage.
And that is part of the reason they're getting crazy with only 4 laps to go on the stage. Looks like Danny Barnes, well, actually, we got quite a few guys a lap down. Looks like Jackson Byes is a lap down. John Ellis Jr. was 2 laps down. Danny Barnes, 7 laps down. And it's going to be harder to get those lucky dogs here because you lose laps a lot quicker on top of everything else. But everybody does have a chance to tire save here. We've already talked about and mentioned that tires are, of course, going to be important. And if you have unlimited sets, so if you want to come in late to take one, it's probably a pretty good idea. But if you're planning on going through these long runs and you want to have a better truck than everybody else at the end, you can't save some tires. The perk of being in that draft is you don't have to run full throttle through the corner. The best thing you can do is try to have to put the least amount of wheel in it possible and burp the throttle. No point in staying full throttle if it's not going to get you anywhere. Just let off, keep that slight, maybe up to a car length. Oh, John Mulhay gets loose up into the wall, can't save it. Him and Dylan Jones both go up into the wall. That was a big shunt for the 2 truck. Does everybody else hold on? They do, as they're all getting by now. Jones slow off of 2, so is Mullihan. They're still trying to figure out no caution, so it's a mad scramble right now. And oh man, Jones has heavy damage. That thing is hopping all over the place. And he needs to get down to the pits here pretty quick. It looks like, no, it's still hopping. Yeah, he's got suspension damage, Dawson.
Yeah, 1 lap to go on the stage as Nagels clears his teammate Baker. Baker's going to have a huge run. McCullough's all over the back of him. Let's see if we make it 1 lap here. This is going to get dicey. Onto the back straightaway for the final time. Couple of lap trucks ahead. Will not matter. We're going to make it to the end of the stage. Still 2 by 2. Baker, Nagels, McCullough, Merck. Oh, getting a little bit loose. As McCullough starts to push him, looks like we're going to sort it out to the end of the stage. How about that? Nagels wins our only stage of the night.
Jeff Merrick finishes 2nd. Oh, no, Merrick after it. Oh, no. Oh, no, that is not what they wanted to do there. Oh, my goodness. Wow, what can you say about that's one where we kind of maybe giggle up here at the booth at it. I mean, come on, fellas. We got to do. Oh, man, that's going to be a tough break for all the guys that just had great stage finishes. And I think just about everybody that we saw right there had clean trucks and not anymore. Matthew Baker is destroyed, and I bet you he is fuming on the mic right now.
Yeah, I can't imagine he's going to be very happy about that. Looks like maybe as Jeff Merck lifted out, Chris McCullough didn't quite get the memo that they were all going to be lifting immediately after the start-finish line. He catches the back of the 5, and another big hit there in that dog leg. And after the stage caution, man, that's brutal for everyone involved.
And here we go. Let's go back up to it. We're going to have to, I tell you what, we're going to have to get an interview from Baker. I cannot wait to hear what he's going to have to say from that. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But let's go back here and watch as they come to the line. Everybody's slowing up. And this is, let's see. Yeah, Merck. Yeah, but Merck dives low to check up here. Chris is fine. There's no issues here. And then it kind of looks like Merck coming back up, but Chris was also there. And You know, that's such an odd look. I don't even really know how to describe what both guys were thinking. Let's see if we can take a look from the chopper view. And there may have even been a little net code involved in this. And no, there was no net code on that one. That one was solid contact. Play it slow for you one more time. So Merck's coming back up. And yeah, I mean, Merck's probably thinking that Chris has slowed up enough to let him back up, but he hasn't. And Chris just hooks him right into the wall, and it collects a ton of guys. And that was Matthew Baker, I do think, probably got the worst of that one as well. Take a couple more looks at it here. And, I mean, Dawson, guys got to be a little bit smarter than that on that case.
Yeah, it's all communication, I think. Maybe if you come over the radio right as you end the stage there and call out that you're checking up, I think maybe that doesn't happen. Maybe Chris gets the memo a little bit earlier. Obviously, with no communication, at least none that I saw, it creates an opportunity for that. It's just so narrow here. It's not like Talladega where you can dive down to the apron, get way down under the yellow line and not risk that. Here, there's less room. Unfortunately, it comes back to bite our leaders again for the second time.
Well, we're used to seeing wrecking coming to the line, not so much wrecking right after the line. And looking on the onboard here of Matthew Baker, I cannot imagine what was going through his mind there. The first couple seconds were probably just, wait, what just happened? But the best way to find out is to get an interview from him. We're going to have to tread carefully here. We don't want to poke the bear too much, but we're going to see if we can get an interview with him real quick. All right, back live at Atlanta Motor Speedway here. Matthew Baker. Baker, this is Austin and Dawson up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, explain to us what we just saw there, because we're kind of trying to figure it out for ourselves still.
Oh, the caution came out for the stage, and I guess people just aren't paying attention to what the fuck's going on in front of them, and they didn't check up. So, wrecked Merc, turned him into me, another race that MVG's controlling, and we get fucked. So, welcome to Atlanta Motor Speedway Racing. We're racing hard on lap 2 and wrecking everyone.
Well, we still got a ways to go, but with some of the incidents that have gone on so far, is it fight right back up to the front here, or do you try to tread a little carefully for a little bit?
I don't know if you saw those last 3 laps, but my tires were gone after 15 laps of green flag runs, so I think I'm just going to sit here and try and manage my tires. Not everyone's used to this track, so I just think we got to be patient, but no one's showing patience here right now, so we need to really practice our patience, but happy to be up front that we got that stage 1, 2, 3. Hopefully we can get the win here.
All right, well, thanks for talking to us. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks.
All right. Strong words from Matthew Baker. We apologize for the language right way, but of course he's a little heated. That's what you're going to get sometimes when you get the live interviews. Green flag is back in the air. Ambrose Kniebel leads him to green on the bottom, with Cody Nagels leading him to green up top. Looks like the 2 NVG guys are going to get clear up top. Sean Hill got in a wreck earlier, but he finds himself right back up here in the mix. Top 5, in fact, second, pushing his teammate. They're going to get lined up, but Dawson, interestingly enough there, we heard Baker say that his tires were shot, and that was running up front in cleaner air. So I think if you're back here dirtier, you're really going to have to back off your pace as Ambrose Wash is high in the middle of 3 and 4.
Yeah, you're really just going to have to manage it, I think, and obviously, Baker, we saw him working it as, maybe he tapped the wall right there as he got into it with the 90 of Eberhard. Oh, big moment between the 90 and the 55.
That's Mike Davenport.
Wow. Big moment. Anyway, no, you're going to have to manage even more in the draft because you're going faster. You're not the guy leading there, wrecking Chad Ross and Ambrose Kniebel.
Oh, big shot for Ambrose Kniebel to the inside wall. Chad Ross gets tagged by John Darnell, and I'm trying to see, does anybody else get involved in this one? They don't. Oh, looks like Dylan Jones. No, excuse me. That's the back of Chad Ross that is no more. And then there's Jackson Byes arriving on scene. No contact for him. And Baker continuing to prove that point about just nobody showing patience. But in this case, it's just Ambrose gets high here. And Jeff, I don't know if there was ever contact, to be honest. We'll have to take a look. But then once Ambrose does get down to the bottom, either from looseness or contact, tags Jeff Merck. They both go pretty hard into the inside walls. And that's going to be a fast repair for both of them, assuming that they have them. I think Ambrose and Chad might still, but let's Let's look at this from the chopper cam to see if Ambrose just gets loose. Again, you can get loose here at Atlanta. Usually the place you're going to get loose to is when you get up right by the wall, but this is looking like a little contact here, Dawson. Now, I know Ambrose does get high, and you got to assume Jeff was maybe just trying to help him, but maybe cut him a little bit of slack right there. Ooh, yeah, John Darnell does tag the side of the 38. He had nowhere to go. That's going to give the 99 truck some damage as well.
Yeah, just a bit of a push gone wrong. I think Ambrose slid up a little bit more than Jeff Merck was planning on the exit of 2, and he got off center. Anytime you get off center in these trucks, the way we have to push in them now, it's impossible to be able to push anybody straight, and unfortunately Ambrose gets the worst of that. He bounced off the inside wall, and that was tough. Ambrose was having a great run, running up front, and all of a sudden his night is derailed here just after the stage break.
And in Merck's defense, he can't really just check up. I mean, he's got a whole pack behind him. If he checks up, maybe he finds himself in that position. Now, listen to the throttle trace. He does actually let off here a couple times. I think he thought that maybe they were on like a straight enough part, on enough of the straightaway to where he could push without that happening. But trucks really unload off the corners, and if you're not perfect, sometimes we can see what just happened.
Yeah, game of inches for sure, and especially here being more narrow and a shorter track, just overall smaller, less room to work with, and unfortunately right there, it just you just get a little bit off center, and around goes to 0-4.
So we're 28 laps in of 80. I think by this point everybody should be good to go the rest of the way on fuel. Should be going back to green somewhere around 50 laps to go. But I'm looking more at the tire wear. It's already been pretty brutal tonight. The track temp is pretty hot. In fact, looking at the right there, you see it 118. Yeah, that's pretty toasty, especially at a track where tires do matter, at least a little bit here at Atlanta. And the hotter it is, the more they are going to matter. So I think maybe if we get a caution somewhere, I would say anywhere between 20 and 15 to go. I like my chances of going in, taking my set of tires, and then from that point on, I'm staying out. But at the same time, with the amount of wrecks that we've had so far, track position seems to be king, and I think the wrecks maybe increase more as the race gets late in the going. So maybe you want to try to stay out anytime from as soon as you're good to go on fuel the rest of the way. Who knows?
Yeah, track position's going to be king, but also making sure you can keep your truck clean. A lot of guys have used their fast repair already, so it's going to come down to not only track position, but attrition and whether or not you can stay in the race. The guys back behind 8th, 10th, 12th, well, it's a hornet's nest back there, and they just got to hope they keep their trucks clean before they can even think about getting up front.
Had a couple of people in the chat talking a little bit. Michael Triscaro, Baker's mom. And it looked like the Fast Track Sim Racing Cup Series might have been watching out here tonight. I believe that might be Jeff Marble, series owner, but Baker's mom says, sorry, Austin, no problem. Again, sometimes just happens. That's the heat of the moment kind of stuff. A couple other announcements here before we get started. We got the PGR race to talk about later, and your top 3 super chatters still on the board. He's going to be Baker's mom in third, holding that third spot. Your top 2, Mark Vondell and Logan York. Appreciate you guys, and we appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. How about the good crowd? 25 people. Hoping that we can get this thing cleaned up a little bit, get some good racing. We saw a glimpse of that coming on that final run towards the end of the stage. But since then, things have started to get a little messy again, but we're going to retry it. Green flag is back out for Cody Nagels. He's going to have Jacob Emery as his pusher. But if him and Sean Hill can get something organized, we might see the 77 drop down in front or behind. Jeff Merck pushed on the outside, and there he is. Brandon Broadfoot called his shot tonight. He feels like he's got a good shot. What can he do as he runs to the outside of Logan York?
Yeah, Jacob Emery's up here as well. He's second on the inside behind Cody Nagels. He's found his way to the front, as has Logan York, Mark Vondell. A lot of guys have flipped the track position and all of a sudden find themselves running up front. As, boy, what a run out of 2 for Sean Hill. He's going to clear down in front of his teammate Cody Nagels and leave their teammate Jeff Merck to lead the outside. And puts Broadfoot up into the second spot in that line. But look at Eberhard a little further back, Austin. He is flying, and he is rocking and rolling in the third lane.
Yep, that's what we always see in the mix. You got guys that are extra aggressive. Now, Ken is trying to find a way around the 44. He tried to be a little patient about it, but he knows that Andrew Clark's holding him up, so he's going to maybe have to get a little bit more impatient about it here. He's looking to the middle, just can't quite get the run, or maybe he doesn't feel like there's enough room just yet. Mark Vondell's having a stellar one right now in 5th. He's up 16 spots from where he started. Runs just in front of Logan York. No 3 wide yet, but a couple guys have gotten tempted. Matthew Baker, you see he sits back there. Looks like he might be saving a little bit. But, man, these trucks still look really, really loose and out of shape here.
Well, it's always going to be loose at this racetrack. It's just the way the trucks race now. It's the way this racetrack races, especially when it's 120 degrees. That definitely does not help as the teammates still control both lines. It's just a little bit different cast now. Hill and Merck lead the front two lines. Oh, man, Vondell is struggling the same way Ambrose was that we saw in the last run. Logan York saying, buddy, get out of the way if you're going to get loose. He's trying to go to the front, but Vondell trying to hold it together there, third on the outside.
And now we're going to ride on board here with Mark Vondell. Watch the wheel. I'm talking about, the 22, Brandon Brownfoot. He's going to look to the outside. Not sure if that was the right move or not because Mark Vondell is going to stick with Jeff Merck. That's going to put Brownfoot in an awkward spot into 3. He's going to have to hold it up there. And on top of that, he might be going all the way to the back. Now he's going to make some contact with the wall, trying to keep it up there. Is able to steer it off, but that is going to hurt the chances for the 22 truck, who was doing good up to that point. Danny Barnes, he tags the outside wall in the tribal, and he almost comes back down the track as well. Everybody's still trying to hang on to it, but you know who we haven't heard much from since the last incident has been Garrett Maines. You see him a little bit further to the back here. He's still got a chance, but he's still got a lot of work ahead of him as well. In fact, taking a look at it, never mind, I take that back. He is multiple laps down. He's just made his way back out on track. In fact, he's in last spot right now and way too many laps down at this point to really have any chance at going for the lead, but he's maybe trying to get out of here, help a teammate. You never know. Oh, we got more contact to the back. That is still Brandon Broadfoot. He has been tagging the wall the last 2 laps or so.
Up front, Daniel Eberhardt's got some help in tow. It's Andrew Zonto, and they have hung Jeff Merck out to dry. Send the 90 to the race lead. Daniel Eberhardt with a big push from the 06. He may clear all the way down here into 3. That's certainly not what Hill and the MVG Motorsports trucks wanted to see on the inside, but what a push by Andrew Zonto. Him and Eberhardt go 1-2 out of 4.
Yeah, that was a very, very impressive move by Andrew Zonto and Daniel Eberhardt. I got to be honest, I didn't think Eberhardt would choose Andrew of all people to go with first because he's usually one of the guys that likes to stick with his teammates or guys that he kind of knows. But Andrew, he is looking really strong here. The truck's actually looking like it's handling pretty well for him. And those two are actually pulling a couple truck lengths. They were tandem up there for about a lap or so. That was really impressive to watch. They are still going here into turn 3. Sean Hill and Jeff Merck got to be wondering what is going on. How are these two pulling away from our windshields right now?
Well, they're wondering, but they also know in the back of their head this pace is not going to be maintainable for these two up front just by way of tire wear. They are not doing a bunch of saving. I'm not sure Eberhardt wants to be this far out front, but Zonto's giving him no choice, just all over the back bumper of the 90. Now they get separated a little bit, and the field starts to catch them, but what this allows the MVG Motorsports trucks to do is save a little tire. They know this is not going to work out for very long.
And saving tire is a good strat, but an even better strategy in my opinion right now is just stay at the front. Too many cautions that we've seen towards the middle and back of the pack, even at the front of the pack, but if you got yourself out in the lead, you're probably in the least likely position to have to worry about being involved in those wrecks. And then, of course, if you get a caution, you can come down, take some fresh tires, and that would even everybody out. John Darnell looked like maybe he thought about dropping to the inside. He's going to stay up behind John Ward, who is going to look to the inside here of the 5 truck, Bobby Forbes. No move there. He tucks right back up to the outside line. Meanwhile, Daniel Eberhardt and Andrew Zonto continuing to show that pace. Let's ride on the cockpit view and take a look at the different dashboard speeds here. 173 out of the turn for Eberhardt. 176 now down the straightaway. Sean Hill as he catches the draft, but let's listen to the throttle input here. Sean Hill works his way into the turn. And you hear just a little bit of lifts. Just baby little lifts off the pedal. Just trying to save a little bit of tire by keeping the back tires nice and steady. You don't want to get loose because then you're just wasting tire trying to get it back together. But man, these two have impressed me out to about a half a second lead. I didn't think we'd see anything like this, but after them, the rest of the pack, you might as well throw them all under a blanket. 2x2 as we come to complete lap 40. We are now halfway through the Atlanta 80 here, Tuesday Night Thunder.
Yeah, still a considerable gap as John Ward now looks to the outside. Andrew Clark will work for the back. 44 into the outside wall. Now to 22. Brandon Broadfoot gets collected.
Oh, we got a couple trying to sneak through. Looks like Ambrose Kniebel does with the assist from the Netco. That was wild looking. And the 44, oh man, him and Brandon Broadfoot, a little bit more insult to injury. They're going to make some more contact. And that looked like somebody getting loose by themselves. I believe it was the 44 truck of Andrew Clark. We'll go back here and take a look at it. Or is this going to be Brandon Broadfoot getting under him? No. Ooh, does he maybe get some help here from John Ward? That would be the next question. See if we can see from the TV follow view here. Watch the 92 of John Ward. Does he clip him? It's close. It's close. He might. I got to tell you, he might. And if he does, or he doesn't. Either way, the 44 truck gets sent down the track, gets down into Brandon Broadfoot. When he comes back up, he's going to get into the 5 of Bobby Forbes. Had nowhere to go. John Darnell makes more front-end contact in this incident. And then there's Brandon Broadfoot going for a slide. Looked like David may have been involved in that as well. David Drohan, that is. But let's look at the chopper view here. What did it look like to you, Dawson? Did it look like there was some contact there? Or did it just look like he got loose?
Maybe a little bit of both. May have just been he got loose and then he had some help. And obviously, there's not much John Ward can do if the 44 slides in front of him. Just not a lot of time to react. And like we said, that time that you normally see at Daytona or Talladega is even less at this racetrack. It just seems like stuff happens so fast. So if he did get loose, maybe he got a little help. Just not really any fault we can put on that, I don't think. Just kind of one of those things that happens when there's tire wear. It's a hot track. A guy got loose. Unfortunately, you can't just stop on a dime.
I agree about the racing deal. And ooh, it looks like, yeah, that's close. One of them sliding up a little bit. Maybe John Ward just slightly coming down. And it was really, really slight contact. Unfortunately, he probably picked the worst area to make that contact at, as it just doesn't give the 44 much of a chance to hang on, especially at this point in the tire run on a track that's this hot and slick. And that is a tough break for Brandon Broadfoot as well, who had been doing good. Made a move. Remember that, because the move didn't work out. He fell back a little bit. And he's got the great-looking paint scheme, but doesn't look as good as it did a couple laps ago before it was damaged. Take a final view here of the rear chase cam with him. Show you as he gets involved in this in a couple different ways. There's the initial contact. He's going to do a pretty good job of saving it, but he gets turned, unfortunately. I believe that might have been Matthew Baker, who was just trying to check up to miss it as well. And then there's the secondary contact between him and David Drohan. Be a little bit more just after that, but either way, as we go back live, Andrew Zonto, he is your leader, and he's been fighting hard for it. But a little bit of interesting strategy calls here from different guys. We'll have to see. Bobby Forbes second, even though he was involved in that wreck. He's got heavy damage. I would assume he's going to pit here. Daniel Eberhardt third. Sean Hill fourth. Cody Nagels fifth. Jeff Merkin sixth. Jacob Emery seventh. Matt Lee eighth. Ken McCall Jr. ninth. And Mark Vondell rounds out your top 10 as we get the one to go signal.
Yeah, Zonto and Forbes actually opted to stay out under this caution, and it's interesting. It's kind of weird. I expected every chance you get under, especially under a yellow, you'd come and grab tires just because of how much we've seen them wear. Zonto says, no, sir. Right at the last second, he dove out of pit road and decided to skip and take the race lead instead. So we'll see how it pans out. Same for Forbes, who's got damage on his truck. And obviously everybody that came out of pit road is behind them. Eberhardt and Hill are the first two off pit road. Well, let's see how they navigate it right here. This could get very dicey on this restart.
Oh, it's not a matter of a question. It's going to get very dicey. We'll just have to see how it pans out. Andrew Zonto warming the tires, and as worn as they are, you might want to focus on cooling them down a little bit more. But either way, a couple other things to note. If you're watching the broadcast tonight, 27 viewers. Again, really good night here for Tuesday night. We've been struggling a little bit with the attendance in the broadcast side. Tried to make some improvements for everybody. I hope everybody does enjoy them. Biggest one being the tower on the left side. Try to give it a little theme, give it a little color. Let me know what you think of it, because if you don't like it, of course, we'll go back to the old one. But if you do like it, we'll keep it. And, of course, I always appreciate the feedback. All right, here. Oh, we got one stop. This is going to delay the yellow almost certainly. That's Brandon Broadfoot. He might just be waiting to fall to the back of the pack here. But a lot of times when you have a truck stopped on track, it delays the yellow. So far, so good. Looks like we will be able to get this thing back rolling. And Broadfoot does get it back rolling. He must have just been in the back. Green flag is back in the air for Andrew Zonto. Not a good start at all for Bobby Forbes. They're going to split him almost immediately as Sean Hill drops to the inside. Eberhardt is off to the races, and I think they're going to probably make a move on this 06 truck in pretty good hurry here, as there goes Daniel Eberhardt to the outside with Sean Hill.
Yeah, no surprise. They're going to immediately pass up the 06, and don't be surprised that this is going to end up as a freight train. Oh, they're going to split him. Merck. Oh, it's a late block by Zonto. Merck's not going to be happy about that one, I can't imagine. They tried to split him down the back straightaway and send him to the middle. It did not work. And but now Forbes is holding up the other NBG truck. That's Matt Lee on the outside of the 04, who's made his way back to the front. Now Merck hooks to the outside of the 06. I think he may have not really jumped the start, but just got on it a little earlier than everybody else in the field. He is the control truck, so it didn't work out for him as they passed him pretty quickly. And Eberhardt now leads down the back straightaway.
Here's a pair of hard chargers. Ryan Baste and Mark Vondell charging their way through the field. Bobby Forbes still hanging around even with that damage. The beauty of the draft here at tracks like Atlanta. But Cody Nagels, Jeff Merck, the two teammates, and of course Sean Hill on the bottom, they all continue to find themselves in the driver's seats. They're looking for, I guess you could say, their fifth musketeer, whichever one you want to call it, and Matthew Baker right now. But I think Baker's still playing it a little bit cautious. Trying to save some tire. He'll be working his way up slowly right now. He sits in 14th position just behind Devin Rea. Ooh. Oh, we got one off on the back. No way he saved that. I'm trying to figure out who that was. That was Mark Vondell. And he did. Are you kidding me? We got to go back and take a look at this. The 59, I'm not sure if he got loose or turned off too, but that wall was coming up quick. And Dawson, watch this. This is absolutely absurd to me. 59, yeah, he does get some help, it looks like, from Chad Ross. Oh my goodness. Inches. He could not have had more than that between him and the inside wall. Oh my gosh. Yeah,
wow, what a moment there from Mark Vondell. He's obviously, I imagine, a white knuckle type of moment for the 59, and wow, that's a huge save out of him to keep that off the wall. Wow, it really is inches. That's one of the better saves I've seen at the New Atlanta.
That's an incredible save from one of the McCall Motorsports drivers. He keeps himself from getting a damaged truck, and if he didn't have a faster pair, he's going to be even happier about it because he just saved his chances at this race. I do think we'll have another caution because he will probably need one. In fact, looking at your track map there, we're pretty split up. You see we have this big lead pack, but after that, we still have a lot of, I guess I'd like to call them stragglers, either damaged truck, guys that had issues, guys that fell off the pack, and they're making up probably about a quarter's worth of racetrack right now.
Yeah, it did kind of split on the restart. I think part of it maybe is an accordion. When Zonto went, maybe not everybody got the memo, and we kind of split the field up a little bit, as you typically see when a guy decides to get on the loud pedal early. Zonto, meanwhile, hanging around, still third on the inside after that very interesting decision to not come down and take tires, as basically everyone around him did. So I don't know if it's him running a little hard or if it's these guys up front saving just a tad, but oh, the saving's over for Matthew Baker. I think he's got Garrett Maines behind him, and they've decided it's time to go. As we close in on 30 to go, here comes that red, white, and blue 5 truck.
We could be seeing our first 3-wide duo. Well, not our first one, but one of the few ones so far here tonight in Matthew Baker and Garrett Maines. Again, Garrett isn't really racing for anything at this point besides trying to help somebody that he wants to help out. And we'll see if he does decide to help out Matthew Baker. Talking about the tire wear stuff, going back to what you said earlier, Dawson, you kind of touched on. I know that it's still kind of working out for Andrew Zonto here running third, but I just don't really see the gain. If we had a certain set amount of tires, I like the call. I really do. I think it works out well for him here. But with no limit to tires, as John Ward's going to get it in a little too hot, he tags the outside wall. But with no limit to the set of tires, I think under every caution, as long as the majority of the field's going in, I think you have to follow him. You can't stay out because now next pit stop, everybody else, including him, is going to go in, and it's not going to really do much. All it did overall was just kind of lose him a couple track spots that maybe he could have kept if he would have also been on new tires.
Yeah, I think the plan was obviously for him to maintain the lead on the restart, and unfortunately with those guys on new tires, it just wasn't going to happen. So I like the boldness of the call, and it's working out a little bit for him as he maintains his spot inside the top 5, but I'm not sure long term that's going to work out for him, and I can't imagine he's having a very fun time driving that 06 truck right about now. No,
it's certainly going to be a struggle. The inside, I think, it's probably going to be a little bit easier to hold. He's able to let off a little bit more, keep the truck nice and stable. But 2x2, I'm telling you, Dawson, I like what I'm starting to see here. You can tell everybody simmered down a little bit, and patience is starting to turn in. A little bit more calculated, a little bit more well thought out moves here instead of just put it on the top and hope it sticks. But 53 of 80 laps in. How about little Tuesday Night Thunder crank it up from Atlanta? Here we go. And that's going to do it for tonight's segment of Crank It Up. I hope everybody did enjoy. Now under 25 laps to go. That means it's crunch time here at Atlanta. We got 3 wide out back. We got John Ward in the wall. Him and Christopher McCall have tried a couple times now, but on the old tires, Ward just cannot get it to stick up in that third lane. Probably pretty dirty up there, a lot of marbles, and he is getting caught in all of them right now. He's going to keep giving it a shot, but it's got to be getting a little frustrating right now. You know you got a fast truck. You feel like you have a shot to win this thing or can at least contest for a top 5 paid position, but they're going to probably need either a caution to get some fresh tires, or they're going to have to figure out a different lane to get some progress going and get some things working. Everhart still leads the way. Cody Nagel second. Sean Hill, Jeff Burke making up row 2, and Andrew Zonto, who might have my pick tonight for the most impressive driver in the sense of his drive through the field and how well he's been able to maintain that position. Even with older tires, he sits to the inside of Matt Lee, who's rounding out row 3.
Baker is where he is settled in, just inside the top 10. Hill's going to get turned right in front of the whole field.
Garrett Maines is back in this one. They're all sliding up, and we got another parking lot, this time in turns 1 and 2. The rest of the field is going to arrive on the scene. Logan York gets it spun back around. Looks like David Drohan might have been involved. Sean Hill, I think, is going to have some damage. 73 of Ryan Baste is slow. Let's see who all this one's going to collect. It's just a product. We went so good for so long. I almost felt like at a certain point something had to give. But let's see if we can figure out exactly where this is going to start. Go up to Sean Hill. Andrew Zonto here. Does he try to take this 3 wide? That's an odd spot to do so, especially on older tires. Yeah, I don't know if he meant to do that or what, but when he went 3 wide, he looks like he hooked Sean Hill. Let's watch from the chopper view before we say for sure. And watch the 06 here. He already's beating and banging on the back bumper of Sean Hill here. Gets a big run. Maybe he thought there was a checkup and tried to jump out. I'm not sure. But yeah, so he tags Sean Hill and then just kind of hooks him. I mean, that's what I'm seeing, at least, Dawson. Doesn't seem intentional, but yeah, just hooks him, and then they're trying to gather it up. Unfortunately, though, they got the rest of the field rushing onto the scene, and Matthew Baker piles into it along with Dylan Jones. They might sneak through without too much damage. I think they do. But then after that, that's where it really starts to clog up. Looks like Devin Ray wasn't able to miss it. Andrew Zonto down to the grass with David Drohan. Probably took out about 5 to 7 trucks.
Yeah, that's a really tough break for Sean Hill, who found his way back through the field and managed to flip the track position and be right where he wanted to be. And just an unfortunate decision by Andrew Zonto. And right after you talked how impressive his drive was, I'm not sure what he saw right there. I don't know if maybe there was a little bit of a checkup on the bottom line, but almost seems like you maybe want to lift there. I don't know if he was too close to the back of the 77. Oh, man, it's just what a tough decision to try to go to the middle. Obviously, Hill's going to try to cut that off, and I don't know. I'm not sure on the 06 right there what he saw that maybe we didn't see. Yeah,
I agree in the sense of he's running in great position. I think with as crazy as this race has been, if I find myself third on that inside, especially on old tires, I'm thinking about maybe being extra conservative. I know as the tires continue to wear, my line's going to start to be more favored. And I know that we might be starting to, well, we already are towards the end of this thing. I think I'm setting myself up really good. But now that we have the caution, it's going to completely scramble things back up. You know, everybody, at least everybody up front, came down to take a set of tires. But some people towards the back now, that's where it gets a little interesting here. Looks like Mike Davenport, he's staying out. Cody Nagels, of course, your leader. And then all these other guys, I believe, are looking to get a lap back here. And it looks like it's at the 99. Could not tell from that view. These are all guys that are looking to get the wave around. I think John Darnell's leading them. No, he is sitting on pit road right now. As looks like Duck Duck's his one-stop shop truck looks pretty good. You're right, it does. And this is actually probably the perfect time to bring up the announcement just before we go back green here. In fact, we got Michael Trascaro standing by to let you know a little bit more about this announcement. It's going to be a pretty big one here. Stand by with us for just a second. Yeah, and let's see if we can pull him up. As everyone knows, the SummerSlam this Thursday. And Michael Trascaro, tell us a little bit about the SummerSlam event. And I guess I probably should have checked to see if he was around. Michael Trascaro, this is Austin and Dawson up in the booth. You got a copy?
I do. How's it going, man?
Good. Well, we're getting ready to go back green, but we know we got a big event on Thursday. Sold out, $750 to the winner. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, man, it's going to be pretty exciting. We got 60 drivers, so we sold out this morning. We're guaranteed $750 to the winner. So it should be, it's our biggest race to date. So, we're really looking forward to it. Got a lot of help from you guys here at Ghost Racing Network and a lot of help from Baker as well. So it should be a really good show. And just really excited for it tomorrow night.
I'm also really excited for it. We'll be keeping an eye on who's going to win that event, of course, throughout the whole race. We're going to have the broadcast for it. It's the next broadcast we have up on tap. Hey, thanks for letting us know about it, Michael, and we will see you on Thursday.
Sounds good, guys.
All right, working our way back into the Geico restart zone. Going to be 18 laps to go here at Atlanta. Green flag is back in the air. Cody Nagels, Mike Davenport. Davenport, same situation as Zato here in the sense of he did not take tires, Dawson. How long can this work?
What are you shooting me for?
I would think it would be a little bit longer than, say, Andrew Zonto could make it work, because it wasn't as long a run this time, as Zonto had gone, I believe, over 20 laps on tires. So we're looking already. It's McCullough and Emery a little bit further back, and Baker's in it again.
And didn't get to see it live there as we were trying to move Troscaro back down to his thing. I was hoping he would stay silent for just a couple more seconds as I was trying to get him back down. So apologize if he said anything that I couldn't tell what he said. But either way, yep, wrecking back out on track here. Baker's got some rear end damage. Can't tell how the front end looks yet. This was on the backstretch about halfway back in the pack. And let's go up to Matthew Baker here to see exactly what goes wrong. And at this point, maybe not so much the wreck, but I got to say the gloves are off at this point, Dawson, right? So everybody's just going for everything. It's been a crazy race. And guys aren't going to all of a sudden chill out now, especially with that last caution putting us with so few laps to go. And it's looking like, kind of looks like Ken maybe came up here. See if they go through. I'll tell you what happens here. They go 3 wide at a really, really awkward spot. No, Ken does not come up. The 04 gets just a little bit of a shove from his teammate, maybe in the wrong area. It drifts him down the track. It doesn't really get him too out of shape. But watch the net code right here between Matt Lee and Ken McCall Jr. Nasty, nasty net code sends Ken McCall Jr. up into the wall. Matt Lee and Matthew Baker as well. Chad Ross drives right into him. And we had guys spinning down to the bottom that just had nowhere to go as well.
Yeah, this was just another one of those accordion wrecks. One move can send a bunch of trucks sideways. And boy, I think worse luck in the field is going to go to Matthew Baker tonight. It seems like every time he gets back up here, he gets involved in something. It's going to shove him all the way back again. What a tough break for him and his teammate Matt Lee there. Just unfortunate. It's basically the same thing we just saw with just a bad push in a bad area. And, man, it just goes sideways quick.
Now, I do want to say in the sense when we looked at least from the chopper view there, while the push was maybe a little bit early, it didn't look too bad. Like, it looked like Matt Lee was able to handle it. It got him a little loose, and Baker did back off a little bit. But when Lee got down the track, there was about a foot of net code between him and Ken McCall Jr., which is just, it's a shame because, if not, they keep that clean. Maybe the 04 gets a side draft. We see a nice move, but instead it turns into a big wreck. But let's ride on board here with the 22. Of Brandon Broadfoot as he navigates through this. He had a really close call at the end of this wreck. Watch this. Checking up. He sees an opening here. He's going to shoot for it. Oh, man, just splits the gap. A little bit of contact between him and Logan York. Ooh, and up ahead, Mark Vondell, David Drohan. They make some contact after they both make it through the wreck that turns to the 42 down into the inside wall pretty hard. Back up front, Mike Davenport. He caught that caution probably just in the nick of time because he is still out front. And he's got a really good-looking paint scheme. I'll tell you what. I believe PGR, we made some kind of new... Well, I guess... And you know what? We're just going to go ahead and save that announcement for Thursday, I guess. But let's just say he's got a pretty good-looking paint scheme on there. And I've seen that logo somewhere before. Daniel Eberhardt in second. He's up 21 from where he started. Mike Davenport, the only guy better, up 29 from where he started, of course, leading the race. Jeff Merck, third. Gabe Butler... solo drive tonight, and he has been driving it to perfection. He finds himself in fourth. Cody Nagels rounding out your top 5. David Sheets, 6th. Matt Lee, 7th. Jason Maines, good comeback for him tonight, finds himself in 8th. Chad Ross, 9th. And Brock Westmoreland going to be rounding out your top 10 here with what's going to be 14 laps to go.
Yeah, looking back there, Ambrose, David Drohan, Logan York, Mark Vondell have all made their way back into maybe just the outside of the territory of guys that we're going to see contend for the win. We're getting close to the end now, 15 laps to go. Going to be 14 when we go back green. So if you're further than that back, say Sean Hill, Ken McCullough, Dylan Jones, you got your work cut out for you. You basically are in full go mode now. I mean, there's no waiting, there's no saving. You just took tires there, and you're going to charge the front and get everything you can get. Dude, there's no more time to hang back and wait. If you're back there, it's time to go.
And it looks like I might have had the actual game audio muted there for just a little bit. Hopefully it wasn't too bad. Of course, you could still hear us, but you may not have been able to hear the trucks. Let me know in the chat. Hopefully that wasn't too long. Again, I do apologize for it, but either way, 14 laps to go. Give those virtual pelts one extra tug. It is about to be crazy. We're going to find a winner tonight one way or another. Will it be Daniel Eberhard? Will it be Mike Davenport? Or will it be someone else? Green flag is back in the air, the 55. He gets a good jump, and he gets clear. Maybe a little too clear here. He's going to be a sit and duck once they get to the backstretch. Daniel Eberhard was not able to get clear, though. Jeff Merck on the inside with the fresher tires right to the inside. Oh, Mike Davenport blew it up. Missed a shift, blew it up, and he is trying to get out of the way here, stuck in the middle of the pack. Can everybody miss him? No, they're going to wreck. Dylan Jones not able to miss him. And we got 2 in the wall. Caution is back out. Man. Getting really, really messy here towards the end, Dawson, and that was a mistake on the 55, and guys in the back too antsy to try to get around it quick, and a couple of them end up getting caught together.
Yeah, we've all done this our fair share of times. It's a money shift from the Mike Davenport machine, and that is the worst feeling as a driver that you can have, is you know you made a mistake, and then on top of that, he has to try to get off the racetrack, and he just kind of has to sit in the middle coasting with no power. It's such a horrible feeling. I can't even imagine what's going through his head right about now.
Yeah, missing a shift in back to pack sucks, but missing a shift in the front of the pack is usually detrimental. Oh, there it is. It looked like that was the shift from, I believe I would assume that would be second to third. Or hold on, give me just a second here. If he's using an H pattern, no, this would have been third to fourth. Maybe he accidentally shifted back down to second. A little bit of an odd one. Usually, I feel like when I miss a shift, or when I blow the engine on a miss shift, it's usually from second to third when I'm going up. Sometimes I'll go back to first on accident, but once he misses that, let's go back and see how Dylan Jones manages to find himself caught up in this. I saw them all trying to squeeze to the outside, and I was afraid that eventually it just wasn't all going to work out, and it didn't. Let's take a look from the TV follow here. The tower, rather. And these guys are really far back, but that truck is slow, and it's coming up in a hurry. Dylan Jones starts working his way to the top, and Jacob Emery doesn't have any room left, and he hits the outside wall, and him and Jones just kind of get together. Everybody else misses them, but they're both going to have a little bit of damage on the right sides of those trucks. A couple more views of it here. And yeah, they managed to miss the slow truck. Unfortunately, they got together in the process. One final shot of it here. Dylan's going to sneak high. Yeah, and unfortunately, you know, the thing that put him in an even worse position, Dawson, is that Merck was just in the middle of making the pass when it happened, because he had got trapped in the middle. Let's say that happens a little bit sooner when he still got that 2-truck lead. He might be able to dive down to the bottom and get out of the way, but he was stuck in the middle, and not one person wanted to let him go to the bottom. So unfortunately, that's the result. Now, I did notice here, I know it's a little side note, but look at the, what is it, the helmet on Mike Davenport here. He's got Spider-Man. Wasn't able to do too much there with it that time, but I like that. It's a pretty cool looking helmet. Looking back live up front, as we do go back live here, give me just a moment. Here we go. Your top 5. 8th caution tonight, by the way. I see you guys asking about it in the chat. Sure enough, we may not be done yet. Who knows? Jeff Merck leading the way, though. Cody Nagel second. Eberhart and Butler making up row 2. And David Sheets, Matt Lee in row 3. Brock Westmoreland 7th. Jason Maines 8th. Ambrose Kniebel back inside the top 10 after some struggles earlier. Chad Ross in 10th. And Logan York just outside the top 10.
Yeah, looking at some guys that have made their way back to the front. Jason Maines, Chad Ross, David Drohan still hanging around just outside the top 10. Same with Matthew Baker, who's up to 14th, so still some work to do with 10 to go, but don't count him out. And remember, I believe he's on the hook for an extra $50 if he can somehow get the work done here with 10 laps to go. He was the Sunday winner, so he is up for a bonus if he can go and do the double and win both races this week. So going to be interesting to watch that. Watch that 5-truck try to pick his way back to the field here, but he does not have much time left, and he's got to have the right teammates, I think, or alliance mates, if you will, to help him get it back up.
10 laps, not that long to go. And these guys are going to be going right from the drop of the green here. I think the first 5 rows or so maybe stay pretty civil, but after that we're going to see 3 wide, top, middle. Everybody's going to just hope that they have enough grip to make it stick. Everybody should be on pretty fresh tires here, at least for the finish of this thing. And how it's all going to work out, that is the next question that we are all going to be asking ourselves and keeping an eye on. All right, here we go. 10 laps to go at Atlanta. Who is going to win the special race of the season at the fastest 1.5 miles left in NASCAR? Green flag is back in the air. Jeff Merck gets a good jump. Cody Nagels on the outside is going to hang dead even with his teammate. This will become a battle of pushing. Gabe Butler thought about going 3 wide, and we're going to wreck again. Matt Lee gets turned by Jason Maines after he had to check up. And another big wreck.
Oh, that's an odd one right there. I'm not sure. Gabe Butler like hung her right out of line in the middle of the corner, and Matt Lee went to fill the hole, and Gabe Butler decided he was going to come back down. Man, it's a tale of another NBG guy maybe that's not going to be too happy with the actions of another driver on the racetrack.
And it's just, I think Gabe thought about taking it 3 wide. He probably quickly realized that he did have an NBG teammate, not his teammate, an NBG driver behind him in Matt Lee, and realized that wasn't going to work. Or maybe he was just trying to kind of follow the line up and maybe opens it up a little bit. When he comes back down, Matt Lee makes some contact. Matt Lee checks up, and when he checks up, he bounces down into David Sheets, and then when he comes back up, Jason Maines is there also trying to check up, and they get together. Jason Maines kind of hooks him because he just doesn't have anywhere to go. Jason tries to avoid it. And then once they get together, they get up into the wall, and then everybody else is going to just pile in from this point. Brendan Broadfoot makes some contact on the right front. And Jackson Buys was in the middle of it. It looked like Devin Ray up there had maybe came to a sliding stop as well. A couple more angles from it here. This is further towards the back. These are the guys that all kind of pile in after it started. Yep, there's Devin Ray. Matthew Baker, man, just insult to injury, just continues to take a couple more shots. And 9th caution of the night here, Dawson. Are we ever going to get this thing ended?
Well, I hope so at some point. This cannot, I mean, we can't keep it up. We don't have enough trucks on track, I think, anymore. We're going to start to see guys pull behind the wall at this rate. Definitely, fast repairs are lost. Love is lost tonight. Tempers are flaring. It's everything we expected from Atlanta and more. And we still have 7 laps to go.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I was a fan of coming here. I was hoping these guys could keep it a little bit more clean than what we've seen so far tonight, but that is part of it. We expected to see some of that. I think it's the only time we're heading here this season, too. In fact, let's talk about the schedule and some of the payouts that we're looking at here tonight, maybe even the point standings. Well, first, let's talk about the schedule ahead. We went to Atlanta tonight. Next track on tap should be Daytona in the trucks. And then we're going to head back over to the Xfinity Series. Going to do Talladega 3 weeks in a row, followed by Daytona. And then after that, late August, we're starting to finish up, getting that championship. I believe it's the double points race and then the championship race. Yep, sure enough, same format as last year. Payouts tonight, payouts are always, well, at least I believe they're always based off of 30. Either way, whatever they were based off of tonight, I can tell you we got that number. So payouts should be 100 for first, 100 for second, 75 to third, 60, I believe it is, to fourth, and 40 to fifth. And don't forget that the championship fund, of course, continues to get bigger and bigger each week. That's why the payouts might seem a little bit small for the entry fee, but that championship race, that's what all these guys have their own, because there is a ton of money. Jason Maines won it last week, and they were man, excuse me, I just was trying to read something I said. I meant to say Jason Maines won it last season, and that was a lot of money that he took home. So we'll have to see who can get it this season, and then, of course, that big purse for the championship race should ensure a probably maybe even $2,000 or more. I would say, yeah, maybe $2,000, $2,500 purse, so that'll be a fun one for sure, Dawson. But tell us what we're seeing here tonight, because I got to check a couple things, and I got to be honest here, all these cautions apparently got me starting to scramble a little bit.
Well, I think it's got a lot of guys starting to scramble a bit, on track and off the track, I guess. But it's going to be another late restart, and this time Merck and Nagels have no help up front. Sean Hill's the closest help that they're going to have, and it's about 6 rows back on the outside, and he is damaged, so no promises as to how his truck is faring. Same with Matthew Baker, who's 2 rows back of Sean Hill. So the MBG teammates, while they are still up here, they're not going to have a ton of help behind them anymore. They'll have to work together. Behind them, Gabe Butler, Daniel Eberhard, David Sheets, Brock Westmoreland, Chad Ross, Logan York. Ambrose is back inside the top 10, as well as Ryan Baste. A lot of hungry drivers for payouts, but a lot of guys as well that are looking for this to be a momentum race going into Thursday. I think that's a big reason why some guys are making big moves. I think you want the momentum. You want to have a good trend going into Thursday and start your week out right going into an event like that. But either way, back to the green flag, field in the hands of Nagels and Merck. They are on the loud pedal. So is Daniel Eberhard. Wow, what a start by the 90. He is all over Jeff Merck, headed back to 1. As Gabe Butler tries to push Nagels even with the 60. Not going to be able to do it. Let's see if Merck goes and picks up his teammates. It's going to be a very interesting team dynamic. There he goes. On cue, the MBG Motorsports trucks will line up. They're going to probably park it in the middle, I think, right here, and try to go win
we
this
got a
thing.
wreck out back. Big wreck.
Right as I said that, and that's actually going to, that's not going to benefit the MBG trucks at all. They're actually going to be, I believe, first and third or second and third here, so no more control of the lines. And I think it's just another accordion wreck near the back of the field. Mark Vondell's first truck I saw get out of shape.
Yep, and he is going to be the only truck involved. Maybe not, definitely not the biggest wreck we've seen tonight, but another hard one here. Oh no, 2 trucks involved. Actually, I take that back. Danny Barnes was the first one I saw spinning, but thought maybe somehow he got it correct in time. He did not. Heavy front end damage for him, but even heavier damage on the front end of Mark Vondell. Is this, I gotta say, it's got a little bit of a look of more net code. I'm certainly hoping that's not the case, but let's see here. So they're 3 wide. John Ellis Jr. is up top. And that's Devin Ray. Looks like, that looks like the exact same, almost the exact same situation as Matthew Baker and his teammate. But this time, Mark Vondell does get involved, but more looking towards Danny Barnes. Mark actually does make contact. There was no net code on that one. Yeah, that sends them both hard up into the outside wall. That was a very good and evasive maneuver from, I think that might have been John Ward. We'll call Motorsports. Let's take a ride on board for that one. That was pretty wild there. Let's see if we can get a bit better of an angle here. No, that's going to be Christopher McCall. I take that back. Watch the onboard view here as he sees his teammate go up in smoke and then hit the outside wall. Oh, man, just barely missed it. Maybe even a little bit of contact, but I think he's going to be okay. And at this point, we're not showing the wrecks on replay as much because I'm tired of seeing the wrecks. I want to see a good finish here. We're still going to have a chance at it, but we're going to have to go to overtime to decide the winner of it. Overtime rules as followed. If we get a caution on the first lap, we can rack them up and try it again. However, if we take the white flag, even if they all wrecked, then this race will be official. At this point, though, Dawson, if I had to bet on someone, I'm starting to lean towards Eberhard. Even when his teammates have maybe been falling a little bit couple rows back. Of course, David Sheets is still up there. He's been able to maintain the position, and we know he is not afraid to be aggressive and maybe throw his weight around a little bit.
Oh, no surprise. Daniel Eberhard tore his way through the field, made his way to the front, and then he's been up front all night long, it seems like. I would be inclined to agree with you unless he was not going to have teammates lining up to his outside. That's exactly going to be the case. Is Jeff Merck and Cody Nagels, you know how good they are, and you know how good they've been tonight. I don't know. I can't bet against those guys on the outside. We'll see. Eberhard's very solid, and I would not be surprised to see him win, but don't take anything away from Merck or Nagels. I don't know. They may be the guys to beat right here.
And it looks like a lot of people in the chat still chatting. Again, hope everybody's having a good night. If you're just tuning in, we thank you for joining us. Tuning in just in time for the conclusion of this race. Michael Triscaro says, calls out their hook and everyone winking face. Let's go PGR and NBG. It looks like Duck Duck Goose says, tired of seeing the wrecks. Logan York, too intense. Michael Triscaro, the new reign begins. All right. 2x2, David Sheets. He's in the money right now. He's going to have to work hard to hold on to it. So is Gabe Butler. Brock Westmoreland, one of the drivers without a team. He's going to be starting in 7th, up 18 from where he started tonight. There's Logan York, one of the guys that normally sits, chats, and is out on track. He's got some front end damage and some rear end damage here. We'll have to see if that truck's got enough aerodynamics and horsepower to finish this thing off. Maybe go for a shot at the top 5. But I really do think here, if it comes down to a block, Eberhard, he is going to be the man to throw that block. And what does Jeff Merck have in store? He's in a good spot here, lined up with his teammate. But Eberhard's also lined up with a teammate. Not sure if they're official teammates, but McCall Motorsports and Daniel Eberhard, they have all been working together as of recent. Been working pretty good together. And if you're Cody here and you're Merck, what do you do if you're Merck actually? Do you drop low or do you two stick together to try to get the push? We're going to find out as they work their way off of turn 4.
Yeah, the pace truck will dive low. The field will be in the hands of the driver, the 90 of Daniel Eberhardt. Jeff Mark to his outside. If I'm the 60, I think I drop low the second I get clear of Eberhardt. I think you don't give him a chance to get back to your outside or to hold the bottom and lead you back to the start-finish line. I think you control him, not the other way around, but what a restart by the driver of the 90 and by David Sheets. They're both going to get clear going into turn number 1. It's going to resort Jeff Merck and Cody Nagels to the bottom for the time being. They're going to have to back up, make it work, regroup, and are they going to do it off 2? Yes, they are. Here we go. It's unofficial McCullough versus NBG off turn 2 down the backstretch.
Side by side. Here comes the run from Jeff Merck. He's trying to pull even with Daniel Eberhardt. Can't do so just yet, but down into turn 3. Now he finally does. Gabe Butler's also going to choose to go to the top line. The 11 on the bottom at a 4, looking for the white flag. This race is going to be official one more time around Atlanta.
Yeah, and it's Jeff Merck leading by a nose right at the white flag, so they did not give Eberhardt a chance to throw that block. It's going to come down to this, I think. It's going to be 3 and 4. Who's going to give the better push, Sheets or Nagels? They are lined up behind him. Does anyone go 3? Butler stays in line. Looks like the same for Westmoreland. It's going to be these 2 guys to decide to do the 3 and 4.
It is all push from here. 3-wide move isn't going to get you the win. Who's got more push? One more run coming from the outside line. Big momentum now for Jeff Merck. It's going to be a battle to the line. Can he get it? He can't. Daniel Eberhardt sneaks it out by 100th of a second to win the first race here at Atlanta for the Tuesday Night Thunder Series.
Well, and all credit there for that one is David Sheets. What a great push by the 0-6. He keeps Eberhardt out front just by a nose. 12 one-thousandths of a second, the official count at the line. Well, it was going to be tough to beat those boys up top, but Eberhardt and Sheets found a way to do just that.
And it was close. How close? Well, let's take a look at it. Going through 3 and 4. I got to tell you, Dawson, I really thought this outside had it right here. Watch. We're going to go to TV3. Look at the run here that Jeff Merck's getting, but him and Cody, they break up right at the last second. And I think maybe that was what cost Jeff just a little bit at the end. Let's back it up and play this a little bit slower. I mean, it was borderline. Yeah, he did not beat him by much. I got to think there, if you're Cody, do you think he was trying some strategy? I mean, before I say that, let's take a look from the chopper cam here. Maybe there was some contact from behind from the 88 of Gabe Butler that gets him out of shape. Oh, there is. Actually, there is. I think Cody gets some contact either from behind or the side there of Brock Westmoreland, or maybe a little bit of both that actually sends him out of line. I think he was trying to stay behind Jeff. And that was close, but that was the finish we were looking for. I think that certainly helps make up for what we saw throughout most of the race. But what a win for Daniel Eberhardt.
Yeah, huge moment for him. Big moment for several guys up front. And like I said, it was going to be a momentum moment, I think, going into Thursday and the magnitude of the race that's going to be. And obviously, we will probably talk about that a little bit later on. But for Eberhardt, that's a big win. He needed that. He gets his week started off just right going into Thursday. And I don't think you can be disappointed if you're the MBG trucks there. You finish the race. You generally clean trucks there at the end. And you got some momentum at least going into that bigger race on Thursday.
And you got 2 of you guys in the top 5, so yeah, cannot be disappointed at all. Gonna go get your top 3 for interviews, but before we do that, Richard Elliott in the chat with the $20 super chat donation. And we're gonna have a new leader on the top of the board. First super chat here in a couple races. Thank you so much, Richard. Says JBR Thursday. That's right, JBR bringing their usual 3. But they're going to bring an extra guy in Adrian Watts to the PGR SummerSlam 75, and they are going to be a threat. Will Luck be on the side? That's going to be part of it, but going to be keeping a very close eye on JBR E-Racing. Thank you one more time, Richard Elliott, for the 20. Man, appreciate that. All right, let's go get your top 3 for interviews. We'll be right back. All right, back live here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Getting your top three, and we're going to start with third place finisher David Sheets. Hey, David, this is Austin and Dawson up in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you.
Well, you finished third tonight. Take home the money, but more importantly, you push. Well, I guess you might as well consider it a teammate. I'm not sure if it's official or not, but nonetheless, you push Daniel pretty much those last 2 laps to the win. What were you thinking there? Like, was it just you kind of committed, or did you ever think about taking it to the middle?
No, I mean, once we got lined up on that green-white checkered, I was committed to Daniel. We can push each other, get a much better finish working together than we can working separates.
And that worked out well because the 6 on the outside got a little bit of a bad bump, lost the help Jeff Merck lost his help from Cody Nagels, but you were still locked up to Daniel Eberhard, and you guys got the win by just 100th of a second. Either way, impressive run. Now, this style of racing was something different tonight. Did you like it or not so much?
I like the racing. I think everybody needs to get used to it, kind of have a little bit more patience trying to run this track. It's not Talladega or Daytona, so you gotta give people more room and have a lot more patience, and people just got to learn it. But I really like running here.
Well, first time coming here, third place finish, not too bad. Before we let you go tonight, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, just thank my sponsors, Transmedics, LNS Customs, all my teammates in McCullough Motorsports. Appreciate Ron putting this race on in this series, and you for broadcasting.
All right, well, thanks for talking to us. Congrats on your winnings, and we will see you Thursday.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, and now we're going to pull up your second place finisher, and that's Jeff Merck. Dawson stands by with him.
Yep, standing by with our second place finisher, Jeff Merck. It's Austin and Dawson up in the booth. You got us?
Austin and Dawson, man, poets and don't know it.
Well, you come home with a second place finish. Obviously, probably a little bit disappointing for you and your teammate that you couldn't get by Eberhard there at the end, but you guys finished second and fourth. I got to imagine that's pretty good momentum for you guys. Take us through how you felt after that second place finish.
I mean, I've been better with the win, but I mean, first and second played the same, and we had a really good points night tonight. I know the points leader did not have a good night, and we did have a good night, so I feel pretty good about it, actually.
All right. Well, it was a new style of racing tonight, and we just talked to David Sheets about this. How did you guys feel about how Atlanta raced tonight for a money racing event?
We probably won't be coming back here. That would be my guess. It's a very easy track to drive. All you got to do is just take care of the right rear tire a little bit. I think a lot of the guys are more, I got a flat-footed. It's a super speedway, and the guys that know, hey, you got to take care of the right rear tire, were getting ran over. So I think that had a lot to do with it. But it is. It'll be all Talladega and Daytona from here on out, I'm sure. Yeah, and that is the case. Big congrats on that second place finish. Last thing for you before we let you go, anybody you want to shout out or thank? Yeah, Ron Marsh putting the race on. Ghost for doing the broadcast. All my NBG teammates, Baker, Lee, Heel. I'm missing myself, I think. I think I got everybody. My loving wife for letting me do this as a hobby. And the U.S. Navy. All right, well, congrats on that second place finish. We'll let you go celebrate with your teammates after that big points night for you guys. And we'll talk to you soon. All right, Dawson. Thanks, bud.
All right, and that brings us up to our winner now. Daniel Eberhard. Daniel, this is Austin and Dawson up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Well, we kind of talked about at one point during the broadcast, you're one of the guys that whenever somebody's got a challenge, you say any track, any price, you name it, we can run it right now. Well, we went to a different track tonight, Atlanta, and sure enough, put your money where your mouth is, you get the win. How you feeling about it?
Yeah, I got to give a lot of credit to David Sheets. He's a good teammate, and he pushed me good there at the end. I mean, it's Atlanta, so you don't really have to have teammates, but you do at the same time. It's a fun track. It takes a lot more driving skill. That's why I was like, I saw that Ron put in their Talladega tonight, and I'm like, no, we're at Atlanta. I was looking forward to this. It's the only track that just takes a little bit of driver, takes a little bit. And it's so awesome when you get those tracks because it's not all luck. And luckily, I had a little bit of luck to stay out of a couple of wrecks, shot through the middle there on the back straightaway when Ambrose got turned, and brought home this victory tonight. Heck yeah.
I know maybe people might think you'll be a little bit biased about it because, of course, you got the win here tonight, but You said you kind of liked at least Atlanta. Would you like to see more money racing at tracks kind of this style?
It's got to be super speedway racing. I mean, Atlanta is a super speedway, and I think you can do it. I think we need to start single file at these tracks, like something like this. Maybe start single file, or maybe start us off double file. But if we keep having back-to-back yellows, put a single file. Even you could do that in Daytona or Talladega. Something's got to change. The mentality's got to change to know. And people don't realize, like, when Garrett went up through the middle there, you don't go through the middle at Atlanta. You can rip the top by yourself and pass people by yourself. I mean, Andrew and me went around the whole field right there by ourselves from the checkups. When they check up, you have to pass with every single run at Atlanta. That's why it's so fun. If you have a run, you have to take it. And that's what makes it very entertaining, and it makes it a driver's track where you don't really have to rely on the guy behind you.
Well, good run tonight. Finishing in first, before we let you go, though, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, thank you for broadcasting the race, Ron Morris, for putting this series on. Hopefully I'm going up the ladder in the points. I mean, I've had 2 back-to-back good runs, so pretty excited about that. Thank you to Ryko, Ryko.gg if you want any setups. Thank you to every single one of my teammates at McCullough Motorsports in this money series. Heck, we keep each other at the front of these things. Maybe one of us will win, and we did tonight. So luckily we got first and third, and good running with Jeff Merck and Cody and Eagles. It was a great race, and thank you guys. All
right, thanks for talking to us. I believe we'll see you on Thursday as well.
Nope, I got Road to Pro.
Oh, hey, well, good luck in that too. We'll see you. We'll see if you get the job done over there.
See you, buddy.
All right, Daniel Eberhardt brings home the win. Jeff Merck second, David Sheets third, Cody Nagels in fourth, Brock Westmoreland fifth. Last money spot, good for Brock getting himself in it there at the end. Gabe Butler in sixth, Logan York, good run for him, seventh. Chad Ross eighth, Jason Maines ninth, and Ryan Baste rounding out your top 10.
Going back a little further, Kenny McCullough comes home in 11th, Devin Ray at 12th, Matthew Baker, not the night he wanted after the win on Sunday. He goes 13th, John Ward goes 14th, and Dylan Jones rounds out your top 15. Andrew Zonto, he ran so well tonight, he finishes 16th, Sean Hill in 17th, Ambrose Knievel 18th, Jacob Emery 19th, David Drohan rounds out the top 20.
Andrew Clark 21st. It's going to be Jackson Byes 22nd, Mark Vondell 23rd, Bobby Forbes 24th, Brandon Broadfoot 25th, Mike Davenport in 26th, John Ellis Jr. 27th, Christopher McCall in 28th, 29th, Danny Barnes, Matt Lee 30th, Garrett Maines in 31st, 32nd, John Darnell, and in 33rd is going to be John Mullahan. I don't believe John started the race. Looks like if he did, oh no, he did. He just didn't get many laps. Must have been caught up in a couple of the wrecks. Well, I certainly like Atlanta. I agree with Daniel Eberhardt on that. I really do like Atlanta. I would like to see these guys here again because when we saw the glimpse of Racing Dawson, I thought they were pretty good. Besides that, though, I mean, a lot of wrecks tonight. First time being here, but nonetheless, a great way to end the race. And the Tuesday Night Thunder Series still has yet to disappoint.
No, it has not disappointed in the stuff that I've seen from it. And you're right, Atlanta's great. It's fun to race, in my experience on it. And it was fun to watch. Once we cleaned it up tonight, it was actually really great racing. And I think I'm like you. I think I'd like to see it maybe tried one more time, maybe down the road. And if we can get racing like that, it'll be a really fun one. Talking about fun, man, Thursday is going to be fun. I can't wait for that.
It certainly is. Neither can I. Only one more day. We're going to be getting everything set up, and then me and Matthew Baker will be taking over the broadcast booth again for the biggest race so far in PGR history, and it's going to be one of those events that you don't have too often. Got sold out 2 days before the event. We gave away the last spot, free entry, to Devin Rea via raffle. So there's going to be a lot of money up on the line. There's going to be a lot of egos up on the line as well. We will see who can take home the loot. Don't miss out. That's on Thursday. As for tonight, one more big thank you to Richard Elliott for the $20 super chat. Make sure you come out and support JBR E-Racing. Well, we see them over in the Fast Track Sim Racing Cup Series, but of course they also run in the PGR Super Speedway, Intimidator Super Speedway Series. Make sure we check them out there as well. I'll see you guys on Thursday. Until then, Dawson, thank you for joining me in the